Hello, and welcome to our show. I'm your host, Jann. Spring is in the air, and it is gorgeous everywhere. With those flowers and bright green buds popping up, it is gorgeous outside. So let's celebrate spring and bring some beauty indoors with some flowers, flower bouquets. These are so easy to make, and they brighten up any corner. They would also be a very special gift for Mother's Day, something that you made by hand just for your mother. I think she would absolutely love it. So I'll show you how to do it. It's easy. It's easy to make. You will need one of these paper tubes, a TP tube I call it. And I hope you're saving them because we seem to use them all the time. You need a bit of paint to paint the base. This is painted. You need a marker to color the inside of the flowers. White glue is handy, a pencil, pair of scissors, and then some paper. Construction paper works really well for this. It's just quite perfect. Now the first thing we do is we make the base. So we start with this tube and cut off about a third of it, which is about 1.5 inches. And then you can paint it or cover it with paper, like old gift paper would be really lovely. So we can set that aside and then set the base aside. The next step is to make the stems, these right here. And I'll show you just how to do that. It's surprisingly easy. I've seen this idea bounce around the internet, and most people fold the paper this way, which makes for a very short bouquet. So I've decided to twist it around and do it this direction, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So the first step is to fold this in half, matching the corners, and just give this a light crease so it looks like that. And then mark the top. You can use a ruler or eyeball it about 1 inch from the edge. Now that's the open edge. And now we're going to cut these stems with a pair of scissors. I've tested different widths for these stems, and about 1/2 inch works really well. It can be thinner, it can be thicker. You can also mark them with a ruler if you want, or just eyeball it, which is what I'm going to do. So we cut it up to this line that we've drawn, and just go all the way across. And without measuring, they're going to be a little bit different in size. But I think that kind of adds to the charm of it. So I'll just keep going, and in no time these will be done. And the stems, it's kind of fascinating how this makes the stems. You'll see in a minute. So keep going, doing all of that. A nice pair of big scissors helps us go quickly, but really any size that you like works well. And this construction paper is easy to cut. You can also use colored paper. It doesn't have to be construction paper. And if you want to make purple stems, go right ahead. I just like the classic green. Okay. Now we open this. And to make it curve like this, we're going to turn it over like that. And see how that is all curved? And we're going to glue that just to make it easier for us to handle this. Just a little bit of glue. Got to warm this up. And I don't want to glue the tablecloth. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. Now I'm going to glue those edges together. And it doesn't have to be, we're just gluing it so it makes it easier for us to handle. Now the next step is we want to glue it into the base. So we glue the inside of this base very generously. I'm using white glue again, and I'm putting it around the top and the inside. It doesn't have to be even, it's kind of messy in there. But just glue. It's good to be generous because this is what's going to hold the stem upright. Now, place this here. The next thing to do is to roll this around your fingers. And what we're going to make, just keep on rolling it. We're going to make a spiral, actually. But we want to fit it in the base, so it should be a little bit smaller. And there you go. So that does it. Now, if you want to, you can look inside and see if it's sort of glued. Some of it's glued. Okay. See how easy that is? We've got the base. I'm just going to put this out of the way. The next step is to make flowers. Now, I did daisies, and I did these little cupped flowers. These little cup flowers have a very long name, and I can't remember what they are. But I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to make them much larger than they are here, so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll hopefully get this out of the way. Put that to the side. These, I start with about a 2-inch circle. Now you can do a little bigger, a little smaller, whatever you like. But you can see this isn't 2 inches, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So after you cut like a 2-inch circle, let's color the center right now, because flowers do have contrast colors for their center. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, but it really makes it look more like a flower if you have a center there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now you could glue this on flat, but if you want to make this cupped, here's what we do. We take the scissors and we cut to the center, like that. And then we're going to glue one edge. I'll do this over this. We just glue one edge. And then we overlap these, like that, and press it. And see how it makes a cup shape? And the more you overlap it, the more angled it's going to be. The deeper the cup will be. So that's how you make these flowers. Now I'll show you how to make these daisies. They are flat. Start with a square of paper. Again, I started with about a 2-inch square. And here's what you do for that. I'm going to just get these out of the way in case they're showing up. Fold it in half this way. Kind of match the edges, and the square doesn't have to be perfect, and then fold it in half again the other way, because we are going to cut away the excess. Now we need to fold this on the diagonal, like that. And remember, you can replay the program to watch these steps. Now this is the center of the flower. Where all these loose tips are, that's the top of the flower. So we're going to keep this folded. And then with your pencil, wherever that went, we're going to draw. Oh, here it is. We're going to draw sort of a pointed shape, because daisies have kind of pointed leaves. So it looks something like that, if you can see that. Now we're going to cut that out along the line. And daisies are put flat, because daisies are flat. So we open it up and we have a giant daisy. Now if you ever want to make big flowers for decorations, this is the way to do it. So here is a giant daisy shape. And again, we want a center, because that just finishes the look of the flower. Now, if you want to make this daisy shaped, you can cut to the center, glue one petal, and overlap it all the way. And then you have a shape like this. So that also works. So you have several options. Now to glue one of these flowers on, I have some little ones that are about the size that I used, about 2 inches. So I'll take the one we just made, and to glue it, I like to, you can either glue the flower or glue the stem. And I like to glue the stem because I can see it a little bit easier. But it doesn't matter, one or the other. Just put some glue right there and then press on the flower and just give it a little squeeze. And then put them wherever you want. And that's how you make your flower bouquet. So I hope you enjoy making a flower bouquet for you, for your friends and family, or for Mother's Day. Thank you for joining us. I would love to see you again for the next program because we'll have a totally different craft. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to our show. I'm your host, Jann. Today, let's make some amusing jewelry out of pasta. You can paint dried pasta any color you like. It can be brights, pastels, black and white, metallic, anything. And then once it dries, we can string it to make a necklace. It's easy art and enjoyable to do at any age. Toddlers can do it, great-great-grandparents, and all of us in between, we can make this. So I'll tell you what you need. You need dry pasta that has a hole in it. I can see you through this. This is called ziti rigati, very Italian and official. It can be a little wagon wheel, it can be ditalini, anything that has a hole, because we're going to string it on this or ribbon or cord, anything you like. We also need some kind of paint. I've tested different kinds. Tempera, also known as poster paint, works really well. Acrylic works really well. They both are great. Then you need something to paint with, like a cotton swab or a brush, something like that. Scissors, only to cut the string. That's the only way you need that. Now, it's kind of messy, but that's part of the fun. So protect your work surface. We'll need a little bit of wax paper to put the painted pasta on so it really dries. Or, I've set up this crazy thing over here. I just took a skewer. I have this piece of foam, which is something that was in a package we got. It's recycle. Stick the skewer in, and then your painted pasta can go right on here to dry. And I enjoy doing that as much as I enjoy doing this, so whatever method you have. So let's take one of these ziti rigatis and paint it. I think I'll do orange first. No, I think I'll do pink first. And just dab it on. Now, you can only do one side at a time. Really, you can make stripes or dots or do random. I did random. The stripe can go around it or it can go up and down. So you have some choices there. Do it however you like. And then once, you can even do two colors at once sometimes. I think I'll do green here. I think I'll just put dots of green. It's all very messy. It's really hard to go wrong here. In fact, I don't think it's possible. Now let's see if I can get this on here without dropping it. There we go. You might keep a paper towel handy too. So just do as many of these as you like. And then we're going to string it. I think I'll just put the lids on this to get that out of the way. And I'll show you how to string it. Once they're absolutely totally dry, we take a cord or string or something. And remember, this necklace has to fit around your head. That's at least 23 inches from knot to knot. But one way you can figure that out is put it around your head and then do a little bit of extra and measure how much is left, and that'll give you an idea. Or wait till you have the pasta on there and then do it. That's probably even better. So just string these. You can just do a few or a lot. It's kind of fun to string these, just like beads are fun to string. And I'll do a few more of these. So let's pretend that I've done many, many more of these. So I'll take a technique that I just told you about making sure it goes around your head. This is kind of funny looking. So I'm going to tie a knot right about here. Maybe give it a little bit of extra. And once you've made that knot, any kind of knot you like, I'm going to eventually get this knot done. Pull this through. There's a knot, and I'm going to clip it right here at the back. Then I can wear it. So that's how you make a pasta necklace. I hope you have great fun doing this with your great-great-grandparents or a toddler, or just by yourself. It's a fun gift to make. And as I said, it's kind of messy. But anyway, hope you enjoy doing that. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you next time, because we'll have a totally different craft. Bye-bye. Hello, and welcome to our show. I'm your host, Jann. Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, and that's right around the corner. It's a very popular celebration in the U.S., even though it's an old celebration in Mexico. It's not big there anymore, and it's big in the U.S. It's kind of amusing. But Americans have, I'd say, adopted Cinco de Mayo to celebrate and honor Mexican heritage and culture. And we enjoy wonderful Mexican cuisine on that day, and we like to have fun decorations up, and maybe even a little Mexican music. So this wreath is in honor of Cinco de Mayo. I saw a Mexican wreath once that was so beautiful. Many colors like this, made out of crepe paper. It would be very hard to replicate, to make, for us to make. But pom-poms, which are such a delight to work with, kind of capture the mood of the Mexican wreath that I saw. So I'll show you what you need to make this. The colors, it is perfect for Cinco de Mayo, but the colors are also very summery. So it goes beyond Cinco de Mayo. It's all summer. What you need is a cereal box, empty of course, a pencil, some tape for the back. I'll show you how to do that. We'll need scissors to cut it out, a brush to paint the base, paint, and some glue, and then you're good to go. And of course, pom-poms, little ones and big ones. Now I bought a small bag that had 80 pom-poms in it, and it was enough for 3 wreaths. So you can share the pom-poms if you'd like. These wreaths, the little flower has 5 big ones and 1 little one. I did about 8 or 9 flowers per the wreath. So the first step is to make the base. We also need a dish or a lid or something to trace around. The first thing to trace is about a 9-inch, could be smaller. I used a dish and I just traced around with a pencil. Then I put a smaller dish in the middle, about 6 inches across, and just eyeballed it, tried to center it, and traced around that. And then draw a line right here, and I'll show you. After you cut this out, then you want to cut out the middle, and you need access to it. You could use a craft knife. An adult could do that. Or if you want to use scissors, you can cut this right here, and it gives you access to cut this out and just discard that. Later, you can punch 2 holes up there for some string to make a hanging loop. I'll show you how to do that. And these little things are the backs of the flowers. It lets you, glue the pom-poms onto something, and then we can rearrange these. So that's a very handy way to make the flowers. So here is the wreath base. I've painted it. You can see it was a cereal box. And I just taped it where I made the cut, and it worked out just fine. So here's the string. You put it through the 2 holes and tie it at the back, and that makes a hanging loop. So you can hang that, and it will be invisible in the end. The next step is to make these little pom-pom flowers. So we take a base and we glue. I won't glue it now because it takes a while for it to stick. Glue a little one right there in the center. Let it dry just a little bit. And then place 5 larger, those are 1 inch, pom-poms around it. And then press it and squish it like that. Press it like that, and then to the side. And set it aside, and eventually it'll dry. And if one of them falls off, ooh, that looks like that one's about to, you can just re-glue it. And the reason I like to make this separate is because once you take your base, I always put a flower right here to cover the hanging loop. And then this lets you arrange, the colors the way you want. I can just lift these up Oh, that one really is falling. It did fall off to reglue that. And remember, you can put multicolored pom-poms on there. You can do it the way you want. You can put 2 here and 3 here. That's another option. Or do them all solid. Let's see, I think I like that. And I'll put sort of a purple one here. So after I glue those on, then if you want, you can add tiny little leaves. I made them out of crepe paper because I had some lying around. But you can also use construction paper or regular paper to cut just a little leaf. And I'll show you how to do that if you want. Just take a strip of paper, a little strip of paper here, and cut it the size you want your leaf. I'm say about half of that. And then fold it in half like that. Nice and crisp. It makes it easier to cut. Start at the bottom and just make a bit of a curve like that. You don't even need to trace it. And then open it up. And then you have a little leaf. And you can glue that in between the flowers, like I've done here. I think it just adds a little more interest to it, changing the dimension a little bit. So I hope you have a very happy Cinco de Mayo. Have a taco for me. I do love them. And remember, this wreath can go into summer. So hope you enjoy working with pom-poms. They are such a joy. There's just something fun about them. Thank you for joining us. I would love to see you next time for the next show because we'll have a totally different craft. Hasta la vista.